Welcome to Greedy Bitch, a podcast where we teach you to go from being burnt out, broke, and broken to healthy, wealthy, and happy. Building a grooming business on your terms. Here's your host, River Lee.
Classic ones and zeros, baby. I'm obsessed with you. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. Have the money. Everything I need.
Hello, and welcome back to Greedy Bitch, the podcast for groomers who have done apologizing for wanting more. I'm your host, River Lee, founder of The Savvy Groomer, and today's episode is perfectly timed for February because it's the month of love, and I want to talk about who you're actually in a relationship with your business. Not your partner, not your dog, your clients. Because here's the thing no one tells groomers early enough. You can be book solid, you can be making money, you can look successful from the outside and still quietly dread your day-to-day life. And most of the time, that doesn't come from grooming itself. It comes from the relationships you've built your business on. So today we're talking about fling clients, ideal clients, and soulmate clients, and how falling in love with your clients doesn't mean being softer, nicer, or more accommodating. It means building a business that actually loves you back. Fling clients, fun at first, expensive long term. So let's start talking about fling clients. And before anyone feels called out, I want to be very clear. Most groomers did not choose fling clients on purpose. We were taught to accept them. Early in our careers, the message was say yes, take what you get, be grateful for every client. And in the beginning, that makes sense. You're building, you're learning, you're just trying to survive. But somewhere along the way, temporary clients become the foundation of permanent businesses. And that's where things start to hurt. Fling clients are the clients who book once and ghost you, only show up when they're desperate, don't read your policies, never mind actually follow them, don't remember your boundaries, and they don't feel invested in you. Now, let's be clear here. They are not bad people. They're just not committed. Here are a few grooming examples, and I want you to notice how your body reacts as I say each of them. The once-a-year doodle, right? The person who comes in matted, a mess. They promise next time they'll be on a schedule, but you're not going to hear from them until that dog is completely pelted and they're panicking. And of course, they don't want you to shave him. The can you squeeze me in client? Not because it's an emergency, but because they waited too long and now they're suddenly a problem, right? Because what happened was you booked an appointment last time. You said, hey, let's book you out 4 weeks from now. That way we have you on the books. And they said, yeah. And then they canceled, rescheduled. And now it's Saturday at noon, and they're realizing that their dog looks like crap before their mother-in-law comes in. And now that's your problem, right? How about the client who disappears the moment you enforce a boundary? Let's say that you have a boundary that all the dogs need to be picked up by 3 and they stroll in at 4 and you've got to charge them a late fee. Or you say, hey, Fluffy's matted, that's going to be an additional X amount of dollars for dematting. And all of a sudden, next groom, they don't come in. Things like you're raising your prices. You haven't raised your prices, let's say, in 4 or 5 years, but all of a sudden, when you raise it by 5, 10, even $20, they're gone, right? And what's interesting is that I find a lot of my students will lose the same client over $5 that they will over 20. And a lot of times it's because it's not about the dollar amount, it's about the fact that they didn't respect you the entire time. Now, unfortunately, once you start enforcing those boundaries, they're just going to be gone. Now, those are your fling clients, right? They're looking for a grooming booty call. They want you to be convenient. They want you to be easy. They want you to do what they want. And the second you have any autonomy, they're going to say, you know what? I bet I can find somebody easier. And here's the part that most groomers don't even realize until they're exhausted. Fling clients can be very expensive because they create gaps in your schedule, right? They're the client that calls you the day of and gives you some excuse why they can't come in. You spend so much time re-educating them at every visit. They refuse to learn your policies. They refuse to bend to your policies. So every single time you have to be like, hey, we close at 3. Last time you came at 4 and we had to stay late and we waived the late fee, but this time we can't do that. And you spend so much time and energy trying to set a boundary that they may or may not respect. And they really take more time than they're priced for, right? It feels like the dog that comes in every 4 weeks religiously, the mom tips really well, they don't get often the same amount of love and respect that this last minute fling client is, right? Because the client who comes in every 4 weeks and tips well may have wanted the Saturday at 2 p.m. appointment, but it wasn't available. But yet somehow this fling client called you and said, hey, would you mind if I come in Saturday at 2? And they call it noon. And you're like, well, I'd like some extra money, right? So somehow this fling client is getting more privileges accidentally than your soulmate clients. Emotionally, they're going to keep you on the edge. You're going to start getting resentful. And let's be honest, they require constant mental energy because you have to be on guard when they're around because the things that they're going to do to you include, but are not limited to, calling last minute, canceling last minute, and asking you to do things that aren't even really in your wheelhouse. In your business, they're going to create more chaos. They're going to make staffing harder. Again, when you have those holes or those last minute changes, instead of your groomer being able to leave a few hours early, they're now going to have to do this random dog that they may have not seen in a couple of months, or they may have to groom this dog that doesn't want to pay extra for matting, but doesn't want their dog shaved. So now it's affecting either your bottom line or their mental health as well. And let's be honest, if I have 100 every 4 week clients who come religiously, adore me, and enjoy my business, that creates predictable income because I know they're going to come in. I know that they're loyal. I know that they're consistent. Somebody who shows up when they want to show up and can cancel at any moment or is most likely to cancel, right? Because if they book every 4 weeks, but then they cancel 2, 3 days before their appointment, why? That's not better for me, right? That's actually worse for me because then I said no to so many people to give them that spot. Often the sneakiest part of having fling clients is that they start to reshape your business around them. You start to loosen policies, you over-explain, and you hesitate to raise prices because the clients that you know you're going to have to deal with, right? You're like, oh, I don't really want to have that conversation. It's never the soulmate clients, the every 4 week, the religiously book every 4 weeks. It's the people that are already draining your mental health. And these people keep making you say just this once over and over and over again. Now, guys, that's really not love. That's survival mode. Fling clients are not the problem, though. The problem is that we expect them to commit to us and we expect them to respect us when we're showing them that we don't respect us. So let's go ahead and switch over from fling clients to ideal clients. Now, these are the comfortable, but let's be honest, they're kind of staggering your growth a little bit. These are the clients that most groomers think they want, right? They show up, they pay, they're polite, they mostly follow the rules. They're fine. No, they're fine. Ideal clients feel safe, they don't cause drama. They definitely don't cause the same level of stress the way that fling clients do. But ideal clients represent a comfort ceiling, okay? They keep the business running, but not necessarily growing, okay? Because you still have to remind them, you still have to explain the policies, you still have to manage their expectations. An ideal client is going to ask questions about the price. They're going to push back a little bit on the pricing, or they're going to want you to explain your pricing. They're occasionally going to forget your policy, or they're going to conveniently forget your policy to see if they can push boundaries. Not, you know, the business closes at 3 and pick up at 4, but maybe, they show up at 3:15, right? Just on that cusp. Or you have a policy where the dogs have to be dropped off. by 8 a.m. and they show up at 7 o'clock before anybody is even there, and then they wait for you to get ready. Not because it's more convenient for them, but because they're hoping that you'll have the dog a little longer for them. They need reminders, not appointment reminders necessarily, but you need to constantly be reminding them of things like, hey, if Fluffy comes in matted, this is the price. They might accept that price, but at the same time, they're also needing to be reminded, and you can say, hey, I want you to come in every 4 weeks. And maybe they're like, oh, I'm going to come 6 weeks, but then they're coming 6 weeks with a matted pet fee because at 4 weeks, Fluffy's fine. At 6 weeks, he's matted behind the ears, his tail, etc. Another problem is that these people are going to refer people that are similar to them, right? They're going to start referring people that are fine, right? They're just fine, but they're not the same as your soulmate client because your soulmate client is going to accept your pricing without debate. Now, that's not the same as, hey, I don't understand pricing. Can you explain it? But when you say your price, they're not going to try to negotiate. They're not going to try to argue with you. A soulmate client respects your systems. They understand that 3 o'clock means 3 o'clock means 3 o'clock. They're going to follow policies automatically. When you tell them something, they're going to listen and they're going to do it. And they're not going to argue with you about it. And then they're going to refer people who actually trust you. They're going to refer people that you're not going to have to fight about pricing. They're going to refer people that respect your boundaries, that welcome the format of your business. Ideal clients keep you busy. Soulmates clients make things easier. This is why so many groomers have this business plateau. Again, they're not failing, they're not doing anything wrong. They're just building a business that's good enough. And if you've ever thought, I should be happier than I am in this, that's generally why. Let's clear something up right now. Soulmate clients do not magically find you because you're nice, talented, and have good vibes. The idea keeps groomers waiting around instead of building a business around their soulmate client. Soulmate clients are created through systems, which is clear messaging, strong onboarding, consistent policies, and follow through. Soulmate clients don't require convincing. They trust your expertise. They understand how your business works. Every boundary you hold does two things. It repels a fling client and it signals safety to a soulmate client. People who value professionalism are attracted to the structure. People who want exceptions are repelled by it. That's not a flaw, it's a filter. So soulmate clients are going to respect your time, trust your recommendations, follow your business's systems, and refer people just like them. And here's the part I really want you to hear. You don't need more clients, you need better aligned ones. When groomers shift towards soulmate clients, we see similar schedules, higher income, better retention, less burnout, and more predictability. So businesses stop feeling chaotic and start feeling calm. And that's not luck, that's alignment. If you're listening and thinking, why does this feel so hard for me? Here's the truth. No one taught us this. Most groomers are taught in how to shave a dog, how to keep the place clean, how to answer the phone, how to book an appointment, maybe even some techniques like hand scissoring, coloring, and maybe some breed patterns, but we're not really taught client alignment. We're not taught how to onboard clients appropriately, and we're not learning how to say no in a way that actually helps our business. So when things feel messy, we internalize it. We think, I'm bad with people, I hate clients, this is just how grooming is. No. You're not bad at clients, you're under supported. And client alignment is a business skill, not a personality trait. The skill can be learned, practiced, even refined when you stop blaming yourself and start building systems in your business that allow soulmate clients to come into your business and be able to be cherished. Let me tell you what, when you do that, everything changes. So, If this episode hit close to home, this discomfort is not failure, it's awareness. Again, most groomers didn't intentionally build businesses that drain them. It happens slowly, quietly, one yes at a time. Though once you see the difference between fling clients, ideal clients, and soulmate clients, you can't unsee it. So falling in love with your clients doesn't mean overgiving. It means alignment, clarity, and respect. This does not happen by accident. So, this is why we actually created the Business Workshop Library. Inside, you'll find on demand workshops like identifying and attracting your soulmate clients, onboarding clients and dealing with difficult clients, once a year clients, and whether they belong in your business at all. It's only $200 a year or just $50 a month. What's wonderful is you can watch at your own pace, revisit when you need, and apply what you learn to your real business. And if you're looking for ongoing support instead of one-off fixes, that's exactly what the Savvy Groomer Circle is for. Inside the circle, you get continued education, monthly Q&As, real-life conversations, and support as you actively implement boundaries, policies, and systems in your business, not just think about them. And for those who want deeper access and closer support, the inner circle gives you just that, including direct access to me so you're never figuring this out alone. You can learn more and join me at savvygroomer.com/membership. If you're ready to stop building your business around flings and start intentionally creating alignment, you'll find the Business Workshop Library at savvygroomer.com/GWG. And as always, stay savvy, stay greedy, and never apologize for wanting more.
Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at The Savvy Groomer and online at savvygroomer.com. Subscribe to be notified for our new episodes. Until next time, happy grooming.